And with that, I will pass it over to Chrissie here to get her started. So just a little bit of a background about what I know about Chrissie. So this is her second year as the shelter coordinator. So we did a lot last year and she's done a great job. And, I think Chrissie's a great leader. I just know that from working with her. So she's going to share a little bit of a update this year as far as COVID and possibly get into a little bit of the building this year that's going on. So that has started. And with that, I will go ahead and pass it to Chrissie.
Okay, so this is my first Zoom meeting for presentation, so hopefully it goes well. If you aren't aware, ECHOS does stand for Elizabethtown Community Housing and Outreach Services. As Alyssa said, this is my second season as the coordinator for the shelter, and I am a Lancaster-born native. So I really do have a great passion for serving the Lancaster community. ECHOS is a not-for-profit social service agency. We work with individuals experiencing homelessness. We run not only the winter shelter, but we also run information referral, housing stability, case management, eviction prevention, family individual support, job readiness. We started another program over at the school. So in addition to winter shelter, we are very busy as an agency. So one of the things, some history, is that the shelter began as a St. Paul's mission in 2015. And it's expanded to become a community-wide effort. So it's no longer just more focused on one church, but this variety of denominations, churches, and community organizations such as yourselves. So this is our 6th season. Last year we served 61 guests and over 2,100 beds were occupied. So that's a 20% increase from the previous year. Sometimes it's a little bit confusing for people when I say bed nights because they hear 2,000 beds and they think that that meant that I had like 2,000 people. That's not actually how it works. So each person counts as one bed night, and over the course of the season, we had over 2,000 of those. So that would have averaged out to be about 17 to 20 people a night. So that was operating at 2/3 capacity. And I'm really happy to announce that we've actually moved back to St. Paul's this year. So with COVID-19, our current space is very small. And I was looking at having to, one second, you guys better not start fighting in the middle of this presentation. I have cats up here. One started growling at the other one, so I had to tell them to knock it off. Where was I? Oh, yes. So we were going to have to serve only like maybe 15 people. But with St. Paul's, it's probably about 4 times the space that we have currently. So this will allow us to serve just as many guests this year while adhering to social distancing. So it's really, really big. If you want to actually see the space, you can look on the Facebook page and look at the video tour that I have. So our mission is to provide a warm, dry, safe place to spend tonight, but we offer more than just a warm place. We offer food, showers, and case management services to help those individuals navigate the path out of homelessness. So if you, one second. Hey, knock it off. Yeah, stop that. Come here.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who has to discipline someone during a meeting.
Okay. You sit here, and he will leave you alone. Okay. Of course, they had to start fighting now, right? This whole time, they're perfectly fine together. Okay, just stay right here on Mom's lap. Yeah, stop that.
My dog's listening. Love it.
This has been much more entertaining than I intended.
Hey, I love it. I'm a therapist and I do telesessions, and I have a 6-month-old chocolate lab that I often have to discipline. So it's great.
Well, I mean, they're just bothering each other.
Yeah, they do. I have 5 cats and a dog, so I hear you.
Okay. Where was I
Oh,
just
services.
speech all
You
right now.
provide like referral services to help them like get out of the homelessness.
Yes. So that's one of the things that we're most proud of, is that we are able to offer case management for people to help them. So it's not just a instant fix, but it's also a long-term look. And just for your information, it does take an average of 6 months of intensive case management to help people. So, and with COVID, it does take a little bit longer. So we are in the midst of this pandemic, and we will continue to see a need in our community. So in order to open, we need the commitment of about 200 individuals who can give 2 to 4 shifts a month. I am bringing that number down based on what people have been able to commit to us. So with about 100 individuals who are committing 4 to 8 shifts, we're going to be able to open next week. And I'm very confident of our opening next week. But volunteers at our shelter have many opportunities. So you can do evenings 6 to 9, overnights, that's about 9 p.m. to about 6:30 a.m. Usually the morning people arrive sooner, so you can go home sooner. And mornings are 6:30 to about 8:30 a.m. You can do 1 shift per week, 1 per month, 1 per season. Any assistance is more than welcome. These positions do require a criminal background check, child abuse clearances, and FBI fingerprints or an affidavit if you've lived here for more than 10 years. There's also a training, as Alyssa said. The training is really simple this year because I just send you a YouTube link and then you watch it. So other years you had to come in person, but because of our limited training space, I was only able to train 10 people at a time. So it was just easier to have everyone social distance online. So I do want to emphasize that our mission is to provide a warm, dry, safe place to spend the night. So I want to assure you that we're following all safety guidelines from the CDC and the PA State Department of Health. I check weekly for any updates or changes. And if there's any question whatsoever about a regulation or a rule, I email the State Department of Health and they get back to me. With the governor changing his rules on gatherings, I emailed them and got an update today that said, nope, shelters are allowed to operate at 50% capacity. So for room occupancy, I measured all the rooms last week and calculated out which room has what occupancy. So I can rattle those numbers off if anyone needs them. So other volunteer needs include cleaning the shelter, donating frozen meals, bringing hot meals, assembling to-go bags or kits. There's many ways to support us and get involved. I would like to try and share a video with you guys so you can hear from current volunteers as to why they keep coming back, but I'm not sure exactly how to do it. I'm not sure if the screen share will work. Let's see. I want to share. What is going on? I'm trying to share this. Where? I definitely don't want to show you guys my email.
Do I have to do something for that? Does anybody know? I don't.
Oh, goodness.
Somebody to share.
I think you have to switch, Alyssa, and allow her to be the host so she can share her screen.
Or like make a co-host? Is that what?
Well, it's letting me show my document, my email. Volunteer.
Try now because she changed your setting.
Okay, let me see. It's not letting me share. Well, maybe it's just the screen. Can you guys see a thing?
Not
No.
yet.
No.
And you clicked share screen?
I tried. Hold on.
I have her as co-host, so I don't know.
Come back.
Lay down. Go away. Go away.
All right.
There we go.
All right. I don't know if you guys will you guys be able to hopefully you'll be able to hear it.
Yep, it's there.
Can you hear it?
I decided to volunteer because I moved to this area about 5 years ago, and there's really nice people down in the Etown area. And I
came into our church and they talked about the shelter, so I figured I would give it a try. And all these years later, here I am.
My favorite part about volunteering would be watching people grow, helping people. I volunteer several other places, and there's always a need. My favorite part is getting to know the people who stay here. Sometimes you get into conversations that will just melt your heart.
I really enjoy connecting with the staff as well as with the other volunteers and also with the shelter guests.
Oh, it's buffering.
I really see how that direct impact through the work that we do here at the shelter really improves people's lives for the better.
Something that surprised me was how many people in the Etown area are homeless.
The thing that surprised me the most is how attached I got to our guests. I thought I would be coming in and maybe checking them in, getting them a hot meal, but it's so much deeper than that.
Less so surprising than more just kind of like this, and maybe kind of thrilled was the fact that there's a huge amount of support from the community amongst the volunteer base.
Community members should volunteer because it's their community and these people are part of the community. They all have a connection to Etown. It's a worthwhile project, investing yourself into other people's lives, making a difference in their lives, helping them to grow.
I think all community members should volunteer at some point in their lives. It's good for the soul and it's the kind thing to do. Everybody needs kindness, especially our guests.
I think it's important to help. I think the people who wind up coming here, they deserve the same peace and security and ability to flourish that we all have.
Folks that are experiencing housing insecurity are a really underserved population. And this is a great opportunity that community members can use their time and talents to really improve people's lives.
Somebody that's thinking about volunteering, what do you do?
Do it. Definitely. If you think about doing it, definitely do it. Invest your life in it. It's well worth it.
I would tell them to just do it. Sign up, check it out, try a few different shifts, and if it's not a good fit for you, you don't have to return. But I doubt that's going to be a problem because once you're in, you're hooked.
Just come on in. You'll enjoy the people. You'll enjoy what you're doing, who you meet, workers and guests, and you'll be enriched.
We'd love to have you on board, and more experienced volunteers as myself and also the staff members. Be happy to show you the ropes. They're all around the shelter and introduce you to the various tasks that we do. And we'd love to have you on board, so we look forward to seeing you this fall.
Okay, so I hope you guys were able to see it and hear it well. That was actually put together by one of my coworkers, Kristen. So she's really good at video. So we're very lucky to have her. So I do hope that you'll consider supporting us in the way that you feel most comfortable. I do want to emphasize that we're most in need of volunteers for overnights and mornings. And I'm going to put a plug out there. Guys, I really need a couple guys. So any volunteer in any capacity is welcome. So thank you all for having my virtual presence this evening. If you have any questions, you can give me a call or send me an email. My phone number is 717-690-9260. Or if it's easier to remember, the email is just shelter@echoslancaster.org.
Looks like we do have a question in the chat here.
Okay.
Real quick, what happens if a shelter guest shows up with COVID symptoms and what do we do with them?
So I do complete a COVID screening with everybody that comes through. And we have so the old shelter is actually being turned into quarantine space. So I will put them in my car and I will drive them a minute down the road. I will let them into the shelter, the old shelter, where they will stay overnight. And then the next day I will get them to a testing site. So that is how that will work. And I'm working on an overflow quarantine right now. So for that.
If I can jump in and make a comment, Chrissie, you're probably aware that the, what's it called in Lancaster? Somebody help me. Water Street Mission, that they aren't able to take as many people this year because of COVID. So there might be an extreme load, an extreme need with our Etown shelter.
Yes, that was definitely one of the reasons to prompt our move when the pastors heard that I was going to have to reduce my capacity from 30 to 15. And truthfully, if I were to measure out the occupancy for sleeping, I probably would be even like further down when I was doing measurements and things like that. And I probably wouldn't have been able to house families. They were really concerned that, you know, the need would be still there. Especially when we're operating at 2/3 capacity all last winter. So then St. Paul's reached out to me and said, do you want our children's ministry wing? And I said, yes. So they've been very gracious hosts. They've really rolled out the red carpet for us. The whole children's wing is completely 100% ours. No one else will be utilizing it, just us. They've given us 300 masks, providing us toilet paper, paper towels, basically let me rip 2 of their bathrooms apart to install showers. So it's, we do have a very gracious host. I can't really give you a visual, but if you think of the thing as like a T, you have 2 rooms up here. Then off this main, you have family room here, volunteer room here. At the very end of this hallway, very end, like probably good 100 feet away from where the volunteers are. I am setting up a small isolation area so that if someone wakes up in the middle of the night and says, hey, I don't feel so good, you can just put them right down there. They have an HVAC system in the 2 main rooms. I have air filters with UV purification, HEPA going in the other rooms. So and I also have someone graciously donated some N95 masks. So if that happens and the volunteer who's overnight, I've instructed them, you put that N95 mask on, you send that person down in isolation. So that's what you do in the middle of the night, because I'm sure that's going to be a question too. So we try to prevent people from coming in. And if that shows up, I do have an extra precautionary PPE already set, ready to go.
If I can just mention 2 things to our members. Number one, we don't have any service projects. We may not have any January, February, March. So this is the perfect service project for members in our club. And the other thing is the fact that there are clubs. I know of one in our district that they pretty much are the caregiver of their local winter shelter. I'm not suggesting our club does that, but just basically if our members can get involved this year particularly, that would just be an awesome gesture of service on behalf of Service Above Self.
Yeah, and I do think I need a couple more cleaning people who would be willing to come and clean.
Chrissie, I have a quick question. Do you need all the clearances for all of your volunteer positions?
Just for people who are directly in the shelter when guests are there, and that is because of children in the shelter. So Pennsylvania law, as you know, is much more stringent these days, and thank God for that when it comes to making sure that people who are interacting with kids are safe people to interact with kids.
So would that include like cleaning volunteer position?
No, if you're cleaning, I don't need clearances or background checks or anything like that, because you're coming in, you're cleaning by yourself, you're leaving. You're not interacting with children.
Great, thank you.
Okay, does anybody else have any other questions?
Yes, Alyssa, I do.
Yep.
Alyssa, if I'm correct, this is your 3rd year volunteering at the winter shelter. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Thank you.
3 or 4, I don't remember. But it's a lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of great people, and like the volunteer in the video said, you do get attached to the guests, and have a lot of fun playing cards with Judy when she comes in for overnight. So
oh my God,
there's lots of fun stuff. So
Judy is on for Wednesdays.
I know, I'm so excited. I saw the schedule, so I'm ready. So, but it's a lot of fun, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to direct them to me as well, and I can make sure we get you to the right people. So alrighty, I think with that, unless anybody else has anything else to say, I think we're good to go. So again, Friday meeting, we have Sawyer Neal, and then next Monday, Steve Flip with his classification. So with that, I will close the meeting. Again, I don't have a bell. My apologies. So thank you
Ding.
guys. Thanks. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Alyssa.
Have
Thank
a
you
good
for
night,
having
guys.
me.
Good night, all.
Good night, everybody.